Hey everyone, so in this video we're going to talk about what happens when you get that type 2 diabetes diagnosis and basically understanding that it's not a death sentence, it's just time to change your diet, your health, your journey, all of that. So this is a personal story, so stay with me and I'm going to provide you the tips you need to just go ahead and get started on improving your health from this moment on and not let that type 2 diabetes diagnosis affect you negatively at all. I'm Janice, and for those of you who are familiar with my channel, you kind of know my story already, and that I am on a pursuit of health. I'm not there yet, but I'm trying, and but it started really back like 5.5 years ago when I was diagnosed with type 2 diabetes. Type 2 diabetes, it's different than type 1 diabetes. Type 1 is, it's also considered juvenile diabetes, or it happens when you're young and it's the pancreas just stops working. And so your body needs insulin that the pancreas produces to live. And so that completely alters the trajectory of your life. Type 2 diabetes is where you are insulin resistant, and it is because oftentimes we do it to ourselves. It's different than type 1. Type 1 is often, you really have no control over it. It happens for a variety of reasons. Type 2 is often because, we have exerted our organs and our pancreas too much through the, overeating of sugar or too much processed foods or carbohydrates or whatever the reason is. And please understand that's most of the time. There's always outliers. But for me, I did it to myself. And so there was nobody else I could blame. I'm a sugar addict. And so I ate a lot of junk food. I ate a lot of chocolate, ice cream, lots of carbs, carbs, and carbs, turn into sugar, glucose into your bloodstream. So I knew that I did it to myself. I weighed over 300 pounds. I was really just unhealthy. And I loved life. I was a joyful person, very happy person, but I had did it to myself. And so it took years of me researching and trying to figure out, how do I change this? Can I change this? And so the answer is yes. You can. They call it reversal. Some argue that, once you're a type 2 diabetic, you always are. Others in the medical field will say that you can reverse it with lifestyle choices. And I'm here to tell you that I can prove to you or show you that you can, if nothing else, stop taking your medicines and all that just by simply choosing a healthier lifestyle. So how do you do that? So let's say you got the diagnosis, and that's scary. And even if you got the diagnosis that you're pre-diabetic, that's scary, right? And so now is the time to be very introspective. So that's tip number one. It's time for a self-check. We have to be real with ourselves, and that's hard to do sometimes. It was very hard for me to admit to myself, Janice, you are a sugar addict. It was more than just I liked sugar. It was that I couldn't stop eating it. I would, eat half a bag of cookies, just sitting there nomming it, and then realize, oh my goodness, I just almost ate this entire bag of cookies. That kind of thing. It's just almost to where I would eat sugar until I felt nauseated or sick. And then, once it passed, then I would want more, then I'd crave more or something like that. So I had did it to myself, and I had to be real with myself. So first of all, you have to just self-check, and you have to be introspective. I'm a faith-based person, so I did a lot of praying and reflecting and just spent some time just being very honest with myself, because in order for us to move forward, we have to be honest with ourselves. And so once I did that, then I slowly began to move towards more mindful, more healthful eating. And what does that look like? Well, and now, by the way, I am a doctor, but I am a doctor of educational leadership. So please see your doctor and medical professional when starting your health and weight loss journey, okay? So just take this as for what it is. But I am a researcher, and so I spent a lot of time researching intermittent fasting, researching no added sugars, researching basically ways of changing or stopping the type 2 diabetes diagnosis. Like, what can I do to provide me better overall health and hopefully a long, healthy future so that I can be around for my kids and grandkids. And here are some of the things that I found. So tip one is, of course, got to look within yourself. You got to figure it out. You got to be honest with yourself. You got to be real. Tip 2 is you want to do your research. You want to look at what is the best way of improving my health. Some of the things that I recommend is the Obesity Code by Dr. Jason Fung. It was mind-blowing. It was mind-blowing. It completely changed the way I looked at food. For so much, I was always told calories in versus calories out, or, just exercise to lose weight. All of that, and I'm not saying that exercise isn't important, whatever, but that book was mind-blowing. And he also wrote the Diabetes Code, Dr. Jason Fung. So look it up. Both books just really changed the way I looked at things, because I began to notice that, all the constant snacking, all the constant eating throughout the day, even if I thought they were healthy snacks or whatever, was just keeping my insulin levels raised. And that it was just this constant raised insulin levels that was affecting my overall health, and that was the importance of intermittent fasting and trying to incorporate that. But it started with research, and that's when I started looking at just the hidden horrors of added sugars, and the added sugars were in everything. And it all started from research. So once you do that mental self check-in, tip 2 is research. Research how, what causes type 2 diabetes, and then what do you think caused it in your own life, and then try to make the necessary steps to just turn it on its head. Okay. So for me, that was, I started with intermittent fasting, and it was just, I stopped eating breakfast because I wasn't really a breakfast eater anyway. I started stopping eating after dinner, just doing things that I knew I could control. And then from there, I eventually added in no added sugar. And the no added sugar part, it's hard. It's still hard. I'm 7 months in, and it is still hard. It's my son's birthday weekend, and of course I make him chocolate cake. We have ice cream, and I don't touch any of it. I don't eat it at all. And it's hard. I'm staring at it like I just want to put my finger in the frosting and lick the frosting so bad. But mind over matter, I don't want that in my life, because I know it's killing me. And I know that my sugar addiction is what led to my type 2 diabetes diagnosis. And so for me, it's like, no, the line is in the sand. I just don't want that in my body anymore. And so it started with research. Okay. And then tip number 3, when it comes to what to do with that type 2 diabetes diagnosis, once you've been real with yourself, once you begin researching and all of that, tip 3 is simple. Put a reasonable, sustainable plan into action. Do what you can. Don't, I always tell my friends, don't jump in with like everything, like I'm never going to eat this again or this again or this again. I'm just going to basically, eat salads every day. And, is that sustainable for you? Is that something that you can do for the rest of your life? So for instance, my diet right now, I can't tell you it's perfect. It's not where I want it to be, but I have completely given up added sugars. That was basically the hill that I was gonna fight on. Now it's time to kind of incorporate other healthy things, more vegetables, increasing steps, making sure that I have my water intake. But it started with something that I felt was reasonable and sustainable. And I'm telling you right now, all my numbers are now normal. I completely in just a few months' time, I have altered my life in just amazing, beautiful ways. And I did not let the type 2 diabetes diagnosis stop my life, but I did use it as a catalyst for positive change and growth. And so I encourage you to do that with these 3 tips. You got to be real with yourself. Then you got to research. Definitely read Dr. Jason Fung's books. Change your life, I'm telling you. Research the best different plans that you could implement. And then tip 3, make sure it's sustainable so that you can do it for the long haul. Remember, we're not dieting, we are changing our lives in the pursuit of health. So I wish you all the best. That was just my little testimony. And I don't want a diagnosis to necessarily scare you, but I do want it to positively change you towards better health. So reach out, comment, like, subscribe, do all of that. And let's just go on this health journey together, because we're not alone. All right. Take care. Have a blessed day and a blessed week.